1924, they built this roundhouse with the 37 bays and our 100-foot turntable. So the shops and turntable are both on the National Historic Registry of Mechanical Engineering Sites, and they've been in constant use since 1924. They did close down for a little while in the 1960s. In 1977, we became the North Carolina Transportation Museum, and we've been working on other people's trains and our own trains as well ever since. So there was just a short little period of time when things weren't happening, but they are happening again here now. What we're going out onto is a 100-foot bridge. It was built by a bridge company when it was constructed in 1924. We have a pivot point in the middle. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go out. I will ask you to please stay on the walkway. I know I show bad example to the little ones by going up the middle, but management doesn't mind if I fall through. They get a little bit excited if our visitors do. So if we'll stay on the walkway, we'll head out that way. We'll talk about the turntable itself. They pulled up one day and I told everybody they're getting ready to use the turntable. And they sat down there and played with the horn for about 30 minutes. Everybody finally left. Especially when on the radio they said, "Play games
Here. You want that? Right.
There's the Southern F unit, or E unit. Southern.
If you notice at the ends, we have these metal plates. They're on there to help ensure that the tracks don't spread as the engine or the cars are pulled on. So once we get further on the bridge, we have plenty of spikes and cross ties to keep things where they need to be. In the center is our pivot point. This was built at about the same time we started building some of our big battleships. 16-inch guns on the battleship sits on a single ball bearing. I got a feeling this may be something similar to that. It spins us around. They do say it is balanced enough that it can be turned by hand if we need to. Now, I'm pretty sure I'll have to disconnect the electric motors, but I haven't tried that yet. And unfortunately, I'm the type of guy that probably will someday. But what we have that moves us around are two 25 horsepower motors on either end of the turntable. Very similar to the drive motors that are on the diesel engines. They're diesel electric. The big diesel turns the generators that power the electric motors that drive the train. Now, for us, the easiest way to explain how they work is they work in combination and in opposition. They work together to turn the table around. They work in opposition because we're not going to go too fast. They keep each other in check. I have 4 speeds on my throttle in there. I can only go to number 2. It'll be a test. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the ride. Now the turntable was used to get the trains where they needed to be. For instance, if you look out over here, you see the tall tower. That's the sand tower. That's where they kept the sand dry. Sand was used in the steam engines. It's still used in the diesel engines today and the modern engines as well for traction when necessary. If the tracks were wet, if they're icy, dump a little sand on the tracks and that gives you a grip that we need. As we go around, there's some sand on the track right over here. We're going to go halfway around. I'm going to stop. I'll explain why I did that. There's going to be some bumps and bounces because there are cracks in the track that we're riding on, or splits in the tracks we're riding on, because that's where the rails will join. So all of that is completely normal. Let's see if we can get going.
Alrighty. Ready? Glad we got here in time. See that? That's the green unit.
brakeman, conductor, possibly, and the person operating the turntable are going to work together to try and get the inside of the rails lined up. That's where the flange on the wheel is. So by getting the inside of those wheels lined up, getting the inside of the tracks lined up, we're going to be safe. I would have to bump that over just a little bit more to make sure it got on. If one wheel comes off, that's considered a derailment. Now see, if you look down here, I'm good. But, and the reason I stop here at this one, if you notice, that's a water stand. So that's what the steam engines would get filled with water by. It's, well, the 611 was here. And this is kind of an important thing. The 611 was a big steam engine built in the 1950s to go up against the diesels like the Champion. You know, the same era, but steam just took too much work, too much maintenance. So unfortunately, it just didn't keep up. 1953 is when Southern Railway finally made the transition to all diesels. About the mid-1960s is when the shops here at Spencer closed down. They no longer needed to be worked on, trains needed to be worked on here, and it was just too expensive to convert it to a diesel shop. So the diesels are taken care of in Alabama and in Chattanooga, in Atlanta, in Chattanooga. Now, different areas, this is used, as we mentioned, to get trains to different places. There used to be a wheel shop, the paint shop is still here, wheel shop, blacksmith shop, car repair shop. A lot of things got torn down when Southern Railway left because unimproved property is taxed less than improved property. So by taking down some of the buildings, it lowered their tax rate. 1977, we became the Transportation Museum. Unfortunately, the buildings that you see that make up the core of our museum were left intact. Now, you go around, the first 5 bays have pits under them, or did have pits under them. We still have 3 pits there. We have a wheel jack in the that name walked right out of my head. In that little room right there. Orientation room. There we go. In the orientation room, you can check out different areas around the house that have different jobs. Over here in this area where the windows are, and I'll go a little bit quicker since we're getting a little bit of thunder, is the flight area. 2 things about that. Check out the diorama that's near us. It's got what Spencer looked like during her heyday in the 1940s. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. There was 3 8-hour shifts. 2,500 men worked here. During World War II, that went up to about 3,000. Then our shops where we work on our own engines and cars for other museums. The 611 was repaired here. It's been repaired here a couple of times. The bays with the numbers on, that's where we store our diesels. And then in this area we have the postal car, hospital car, a couple other things for you guys to take a look at. Now, real quick train wreck story since we're here in the Thunder. There was a train accident here. Came off of the line behind me where you see the 6604 for the Silver Meteor. That's one of our new cars. It's an observation bar car. There's 2 observation areas on either end and a bar in the middle. One of my favorite words. So, what we see took place was the engineer pulled up, they set the brake, and there's 2 stories on it. There was either he left the throttle on or the throttle malfunctioned. Either way, it crept its way into the pit.
Oh, wow.
And all we know about what happened is it cracked the paper. No one was injured, no damage to the train itself. We have 2 large cranes. That's the smaller of the 2, actually. It's over there. It used to be steam. Another one was steam also. It's just south of the oil house. One of them picked the train up and the other one pulled it back, and they got it lined up back on the tracks, no problem. And like I said, no one was injured, no damage to the equipment, except somebody probably got a pretty hard ribbon if he did leave it on. That might be why he said it was malfunction. So we'll finish up our ride.
Go again. Do that.
Is that right, please?
I would want to look at a few more things.
You want to go over there in the
Now that sounds more like thunder. The thunder. Mm.
Now, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are not any faster. So I mentioned the 611, it's 109 feet long. Its wheelbase does fit on a 100-foot bridge here, but it also weighs 495,000 pounds. That's where 3 and 4 come in. They do add extra power to our wheels to spin that heavy weight around, but we do not go any faster. Everybody was no disappointed. So we'll go ahead and hop on.
Everybody ready? Have fun. You want to sit in? Go ahead.
I'm in the NW Caboose, Norfolk and Western.
There's seats up there.
There's a sink.
No, we better not.
See?
Oh, look at this. There's a stove. Look.
Bathroom.
Where you cook. There's a place to eat. Turn it. Are you turning the boost? That's right. Pretty cool. Get down there, or we can go back through and you can sit in the seat if you want. You want to go back through it? Okay, which seat you want to sit in? Ooh, a stove. Is it rocking? I feel like rocking.
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
They got their own trash can.
Hey, can you turn the goosey wheel?
Yeah. I lived in South Carolina, way through, so flat, it was beautiful. You could watch the storms and see all the lightning on the sides of the clouds. as they
Yeah.
go around you.
That would be neat.
It's very cool. I really enjoyed it.
I like to watch storms coming off the water.
Well, I'm amazed we made it this long before we got the storm.
Well, it looks like it's going around right now.
It does look like it might miss us.
We have an excellent weekend. Ready, Bobby?
You been up in the caboose yet? Okay.
1950 white Mustang truck. It's used in the 1950s by Northland in between Richmond and Norfolk, Virginia. It's a 6